If I had a nickel for every time a character said the word boat, I'd have been a millionaire by the time the movie ended. Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing The Boys in the Boat, directed by George Clooney and starring Callum Turner and Joel Edgerton. So, it's 1936, and things are not going too well for the US at the moment. It's currently in its literal depression era, with everyone feeling the effects of the Great Depression. None more so than our main protagonist, Joe Rance, played by Callum Turner. He's a college student living out of a broken down car who's struggling to make his tuition payments on time. And so, looking for some quick cash to pay off his debts, he decides to try out for the Washington State rowing crew. And fortunately enough, he gets picked, and he gets to work with Coach Al Urbixson, played by Joel Edgerton. And he gets to help maintain a new boat with Boatmaster. I don't know what his role is exactly, but he works on a boat. His name is George Pocock, and he's played by Peter Guinness. Anyway, what starts off as a simple quest to get money soon turns into a quest to kick Nazi ass at the Summer Olympics in Berlin. So, writing-wise, the film doesn't offer much new to the underdog sports genre. There's speeches about how insert sport here, in this case rowing, is a sport that is as physical as it is mental. And there's a deadbeat dad whose sole purpose is to transform into a supportive dad when the script calls for it. And there are BS rule changes designed to keep our scrappy underdog team down. And again, these cliches wouldn't be too bad, except for the fact that the film doesn't offer much variation to them, and it doesn't do much to develop them. Like, again, Joe's father sort of just, he's mentioned a bit earlier in the film and how he abandoned him, and then sort of out of nowhere he shows up and suddenly Joe is just off his literal game. And it's kind of resolved with a relative, again, the monologue delivered by George, it's not a terrible monologue, it's actually pretty well written, but I don't know, it just felt too easily resolved for the character. And that kind of goes for another issue, like, you know, there's a whole issue surrounding rule changes and qualification, because there's always conflicts surrounding qualification for, you know, a spot at the Olympics or whatever, you know, competition is going on. And it feels like it's established, and then like barely a scene later, it's solved via a money or fundraising montage. So again, so the setups are cliched, and the execution isn't all that novel or well developed. The film also tackles the theme of poverty, specifically during the Great Depression era. And it's not terrible. The film does a decent job of establishing, just how impoverished the Washington State team is, especially Joe, and the creative means he has to, solve his problems without money. So it's not terrible, but the problem is when the film deals with the rich side of the rich versus poor theme, and the film doesn't come up with much beyond, talent should determine victory, not money. Again, as far as movies with messages to deliver, this film doesn't bash your brains in a la, say, Mithrigan and its pure, unadulterated hatred of AI, but it's not all that interesting either. The performers do a decent enough job with their material, in spite of the fact that it's underdeveloped, save for one awkward scene in which he out of character gets, super physical over a perceived slight against him. Callum Turner, he gives an alright performance as Joe, a struggling college student desperately trying to make ends meet. And Joel Edgerton gives a stern yet caring performance as Coach Ulbrichtson. And together, overall, the main cast has decent chemistry together. I liked watching them. I laughed when the film, made attempts to be funny. But individually, the actors are shortchanged by a script that doesn't know when to give them their individual big moment. Like, some characters will just disappear without much fanfare. Like, again, like I said, Joe, he has this best friend, and they're shown together, going out for trials for crew, and you think he's an interesting character. Maybe they'll follow him along for the rest of the movie, but he kind of disappears. Not in the sense that he's no longer in the movie, but the film doesn't pay much attention to him. So I don't know. Again, same goes for a whole bunch of other characters. There's one socially awkward yet hyper competent rower, who's a man of few words yet is talented at rowing in the piano. And again, when he's on screen, he's charming, but I don't know. The film chooses awkward moments to suddenly make him important to the screenplay and the overall plot itself. And the female and the actresses, unfortunately, they suffer from period piece syndrome, in that they exist solely as accessories to the male characters to support them. Like, again, for what it's worth, Hadley Robinson, she's charming in her role as Joe's love interest, but she isn't given much more beyond that. And I don't need to have seen Courtney Hengler's prior movies to know that she was wasted in this movie as the main coach's wife. The rowing sequences are reasonably entertaining enough. They're, again, compared to other sports, they're not super thrilling. I wasn't like, come on, come on. But again, they have enough tension to them. And if you don't know the full story, you might be a little surprised. But, again, save for the odd shot every now and then, George Clooney, as a director, he shows himself pretty competent. He knows how to make the rowing sequences more entertaining than the typical Olympics TV broadcast. He uses a good combination of close-ups, overhead aerial shots, and green screen to emphasize the talent of the rowers. And the sound design is really well done. Like, every time the film cut to an extreme close-up of the oars, I thought the oars were going to fall out. That's how good the sound design is. You can feel the effort they're putting into it as they row. So, though it's not without charming moments, The Boys in the Boat is too cliched to be a true celebration of sports underdogs. So, with all that in mind, I will be giving The Boys in the Boat 2.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what is your favorite sports drama and why?